Rico and I have come out on a morning walk looking for some inspiration for the furniture. I think I've decided that I'm going to do the chaise longue first. So we're just going over some ideas, aren't we, Rico? Yeah. We're just going through some ideas for the chaise longue. So we're going to start on that when we get back in about half an hour's time. I have to show you this real quick. It was quite funny. One morning we were walking up here and Rico stopped not far from where he is now, didn't you, Rico? And he started growling, sat in the middle of this shade, and he's looking up there growling, and we couldn't work out what he was growling at. Thought, has he seen a fox or something in the bushes? And then we realised he was growling at the tree stump ahead of us, and he thought it was another German Shepherd coming towards us. Can you make it out? We'll have a look when we get up there. So he was growling at this tree stump because he thought it was another German Shepherd looking at him, coming towards us. I told you he was nuts. He's the Homer Simpson of the dog world. He just had birds tweeting around in his head. We're almost back now. I'll just give you a quick whiz round. This is normally, considering we live in a desert, this isn't normally this green, but we had that much rain earlier this year. That's home over there. We had that much rain that everything is green. Oh, the poppies are starting to come out as well now. So let's do a quick 360 without making you ill. There we go. I'll do another quick one when we get a bit nearer and show you the village. So we're just coming back to the village now, which is here in front of us. And my house is over there somewhere. That house on the top, that's a church at the top. But the big house there at Christmas has 40,000 Christmas lights on it. It looks spectacular. It's probably one of the nicest, if not the nicest house in the village. So we've got that to look forward to at Christmas time. So I'll take you up there and show you everything. It's out of this world. Okay, we've decided, Rico and I, that we're going to do the chaise longue first. But first things first, we need to get it out of the house and upstairs onto the roof terrace. This should be fun. Well, there it is. That was easier than I thought. Apart from Rico getting in the way. Right, so let's have a look at it. So all that gimp stitching, which has been really poorly attached with staples, all on show, that's got to come off. Obviously the wood needs doing, and then the bottom's got cable ties, broken wood, and it's just not supporting anything. It just all sags down. So we're going to unpick all that and then see what we're left with, and we'll take it from there. Okay, we've managed to get the gimp frill off, what it's called, I don't know. And this isn't stapled, it's got tacks, hundreds of them. It goes all the way around. But I think the only way to get to I don't know whether you can see in there, but the actual stuffing is behind that hessian or burlap, wherever you're from. You might call it something different. So I think we need to get in so we can get above that and find out what's missing, because it just seems, if you can see, it goes up and down, up and down. And this is, the highs are where the springs are, and then it goes low in between the springs. So I know it's a pain and it's going to take forever, but we've got to undo all these, take all these tacks out and remove the material completely. So get back to you with that one. 160 tacks later. Oh, that was good timing for the bells. And still more to go. So let's see what we've got underneath. More material and yet more tacks. So I'm not sure how it's tacked in there, and now I'm going to get in to get them out. I'm guessing from underneath maybe. So, but it doesn't smell very pleasant. I guess that's to be expected. I think it's just full of straw, which absorbs all kinds of stuff, I guess. Some masking tape holding the cushion on. I'm guessing that's new. But the base, the main seat, is original. Okay, get back to you when after the next installment. So we've removed the cover, taken about 2.5 hours to get all those tacks out. We've ended up with 3 pieces of material. It's a bit of a mess inside, but you can see what we're dealing with here. It's a bit of a mess. So there is some foam in there, but it's high where the springs are and then goes low in between the springs. So we're going to have to take all that off, I guess, and put some new foam in, and then either reuse that's going to go in a washing machine now on a nice gentle 20-degree wash, and see if it comes out all right or whether it disintegrates. So I'll get back to you once it's out on the washing line. So in the armrest we've got what looks like carpet underlay and straw. So this should be fun. We've got about 60 more tacks to take out, which I'm not going to bore you with, and then we're going to put the whole lot, all the material, that pile, in a washing machine, see how it comes out. So this is the material. It's washed, virtually dry now. I mean, it's cleaner, but I thought it might have had a bit more oomph to it once it was clean, but we can only, time will tell. So you want to see this? I thought this was going to be the easiest job of the 3, but let's do the big reveal. Oh my giddiness. Yeah, straw, all kinds of nonsense in there. So let's get it stripped. I've just arrived at Rachel's to pick up some foam for the chaise longue and been greeted by some dogs. Hey Vinny. Hey Vinny. Hey Vinny. From huge to tiny. 2 new arrivals. How old are these, Rachel?
We don't know. Can't open the mouth yet to find out.
So the owner died apparently, and there was 25 of them in a house.
These beautifuls.
Where did the others go?
They're still, some are in the Pereira, some are going to Alicante, some are going to 2 other associations. So we got it under control. Thankfully they're small. So
hey guys.
I've got their sister in there who's heavily pregnant.
So we're just back from Rachel's. We saw the puppies and we picked up some new foam and also some new fabric. What do you think? It's quite nice, I think. So we have it going that way rather than that way, on one long piece along there. I was undecided whether to paint the wood here or whether to just strip it and varnish it, but I think varnishing it, going back to the wood rather than painting it, would be in keeping with the colours of the fabric. So we're going to strip whilst it's in its naked state. We'll address the wood issue, and then we've got some foam, some new foam, and we're going to have to use, I think, reuse some of this because the springs are tied to this, and this, well, not at the moment, it's not stopping them wobbling, but when this is attached it stops the springs wobbling from side to side. So I might reattach this top piece over the top, put some new material in that you won't see to hold it all together, then the foam, then some more material, and then the actual cover. So let's get cracking with stripping this down. I found out why the armrest is rocky. There's a lot of play in that joint there. I was thinking of putting a metal strap across there to stop it twisting, but if I do that I'll have nowhere for my tacks to go. I'll just be trying to tap into metal. So I might put in this corner here, around here, put an L bracket along there and along there that'll hopefully stop it wobbling. So I've just washed this other material that I found at the bottom of a bedding box. I'm not sure what it is. It's got a loop sort of a quarter of the way down. I don't know, it's a curtain or something, I'm not sure. So the plan is we're going to lay that material on here, fill it with foam, and then fold the material over the top and then secure it along that edge, and then it'll have the new material over the top of that. The problem is that this foam, which is going to go there on the seat bit, isn't thick enough. and then the foam that's for here is too thick. So I could have done with, bear in mind that these are all donations, so we've not paid for them. I could have done with that foam being this thick and vice versa, but beggars can't be choosers, so we might have to go to the shop, but the shop is over an hour away, so we shall see. What I've done, just to update you, is we stripped it all down. Let's just move these out of the way, and then I've reused this, but I've tightened it all. I had to trim it because it had foam in between it, so it went over the foam. So when I stretched it back, it was too long, too wide. So I've trimmed it and then reattached it because this is holding the springs in place. So I didn't want to remove it really, because it's stitched to the, you can see here, it's stitched to the springs. So my haberdashery skills are not very good, so I thought just leave it as it is and put the foam over the top. So the springs are still doing a good job after all these years. So the plan is next, while all the covers are off, is to get this wood sorted out, sanded and then stained. Okay, see you on the next one. So I've been getting carried away myself, so after hours of sanding, we're down to the bare wood. I started staining it and then realised I didn't have any footage. So there's a half sanded, half stained leg, and there's one of the newly stained ones. So let's just finish this side and see what it looks like. There we go, that's one coat. Probably going to need another one, but I even painted, well, stained this part, which you're not even going to see, but I thought it just can't do any harm. So it's going to need another coat, I think, because it's drying quite matte, especially in this heat. It's 30 degrees centigrade this afternoon. Rico don't know what to do with himself. He's curled up on the foam at the minute. Okay, well, the next stage is to connect all this and then put that base material on with the foam. We got the foam this morning from the shop. We got a bit of a bargain. I told the lady I had two in the trolley, but she only charged me for one, so she must have known it was for charity. That's all I can think. So we got a bit of a bargain there. It was €21 for 3 pieces of foam. So can't complain. Okay, so I think the next step is to get this material cut to size. So we've got it roughly shaped out, so it's going to be tacked on this side here, then the foam's going to go on there, and then this will fold over the foam and then get tacked again, and then we'll put the then we start the scary part, which is cutting the new fabric. Progress report. So we're getting there. We've managed to secure this with a row of tacks, and it's doubled over, and then has the foam inside it. We've not secured this yet, this end. This is all still needs tacking down, that's why it looks like it shoots up at the end. But we put an extra piece of foam underneath. This is the main foam, and then an extra piece because it was sagging right down. So we've got this weighed down with this brick, so it pulls it tight across here while I finish tacking it to the frame. And then decided not to use this old piece, and then we've got to work out how to tack that to there, so, and then tack all along the bottom, and then it's ready for the final material. So I've just done a bit of a mock-up just to get a general feel of how it's going to look. What do you think? It's better than it was. Whether it's the right material or not, I don't know, but it's all we had. Let me know your thoughts. What we've got the problem with these pieces, the smaller pieces that we've got, the pattern doesn't run the right way for the size. It actually runs across, and if we do it that way, it's not big enough, the piece. So we're going to have to, bear in mind that this is folded double at the minute, so we're going to have to hope that we've got enough left when we cut that piece out to go over the top of there. Okie dokie. So we've almost finished with the under fabric. I've got it all tacked in across the bottom there, on this side, can't see the sun's in my face, down the bottom there, and then along that edge there. We've just got to finish off underneath. We're going to trim that off and fold it round with the foam. So that's, I'm worried about the next step because it means cutting the material, so that's scary. Not looking forward to it. Bearing in mind I've never done anything like this before. When I bought the foam the other day, there was, in the shop, there was some pool noodles, and it would have been ideal for the foam on there, but I forgot to pick it up from the shop, and they were only €1.50, so it would have been a cheap, good cheap option, because it was exactly the right shape and the right length. Maybe I can get one later on in the week if I need to go back. Like I say, it's over an hour trip. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you're watching this, or good evening even. Okay, so today's plan of action is to get this end finished. So what I want to do is tack it to this piece of wood, which will help keep this foam in place, and then maybe take it around these and then tack it to the bottom one here, and that'll give a bit more support to this, because this isn't really doing anything. And then we're going to trim this, get it tacked to here, and then I think we're done with the base or the under material. And then we've just got to cut the material for these, for the main seat, a piece for this. So the piece that goes on the main cushion here will go underneath there and tack to here, and similarly the piece that goes across the backrest will go under there, be tacked to here, and then fold round this and be tacked to this wood here underneath. And then there's a piece that goes across this entire back section, and we'll cover up this piece as well. So let's get tacking. So I've made a mistake. I've got all this tacked in and it's had a haircut, and we've put that behind there and tacked it to this wood, which is a bit loose. But I've realised that I tried tucking the main sheet underneath this headrest so I can tack it to there, but it's actually in between these two layers, so I'm gonna have to take all these pins out again and pull the top layer through. So the good news is we've cut this in half. So I'm using the side with the hem here, so when I tack that in it'll be a bit stronger. And then we've got Rico down there. We've got plenty left over on this side, and then the other half is going to go on the headrest or the seat back. I have to be careful that, again, I've turned it round so I can use the hem against against the wood here, so it'll be stronger. Obviously on that side you're not going to see, because I'm guessing that this will be against the wall, if that's how chaise lounges normally go, against the wall. What I've got to be careful of is when I do the fix one and then start to do the other, that the lines run as one straight line, because if it's off like it is slightly now, it's going to look a mess. So the lines, these lines here, these straight lines need to be straight, not like that. If we turned it round, these sort of chevron shapes would be upside down unless we shifted across by a half. So that one's an upside down chevron, but then this one is a right way up chevron, and then upside down. Hope you understand that, what I'm trying to convey to you. So I'm going to take a break for a while. Getting those pins out from under there was a nightmare. I put them in too well. They weren't ever supposed to come out again. Eventually got them out. So there we go. That's me for now. I'm going to have some lunch, I think, and a siesta. Right, so the plan is to put some temporary tacks along this edge, pull it tight, get this tacked in all the way around down the bottom, and then because we're going to be using the bronze big round headed tacks instead of that gimp stuff, even the name just puts me off, so we're going to use tacks with the big bronze heads instead. I want to get this right on this side so I can then pull it tight on the other side and get that tacked in, because that's actually going to tack in on the underneath side, so you're not going to see any of the tacks or anything on that side, on the back side. So let's get that done and take it from there. Okay, that was mammoth. So we've managed to tack everything in temporarily before we get the bronze studs tomorrow. They've been delivered. I can't get anything delivered here because my street is a hill and it's a nightmare. Amazon will not deliver, so we have to get everything to a shop that is over there. So we've got all this in. We've got to put a piece across there tomorrow. We've got another piece that's going to cover this, and then we'll go across the back there and cover all that up. And we've just got to pull these tight, which will pull this cushion in tight at the bottom here. It'll pull that round. So we did not a bad job of lining up the lines, the chevrons. So as I say, it just needs, once we start putting the permanent pins in tomorrow, the tacks, we can start pulling everything really tight and get rid of stuff like that. And then we've got to sort out the foam and recover that. But one of the pieces are trimmed from the length of this, the material wise, is going to be perfect for the armrest. So that's going to be tomorrow now. It's getting late, and Rico wants to go out, so I'll speak to you in the morning. Hello again on another day. New I don't know what that is. The new tacks have arrived, so they're going to go all the way around this bottom edge, around there, around the bottom there. Now this end is tacked underneath, so we don't need to use the expensive ones. We maybe need to use some on here. We've got to trim all that and then cut a piece that will cover this and go across the back and fix on this post here, and fix up there somewhere. So that's today's task. So we've got this back piece, which is going to be a weird shape because it has to go around this side as well. So we've put it on a bit of a platform, turned it upside down, because I need to tack this edge to the wood that's here, runs behind this foam. So it was easier to do it with it upside down. So let's see if we can get this final piece in, and then we can start taking all the temporary tacks out and putting in our new ones. Right, so we've got this roughly tacked in and along this edge here to the frame of the chair. The problem I had was trying to come round this corner with the same piece of material, and because of this slight curve here, the material wanted to kink, and so it threw the kind of pattern out, and it just didn't look right, and it meant a lot of folding and a bit of a rigmarole really. So I've decided I've cut it off here and then tacked this edge temporarily, and now we're going to make a separate piece for this side of the headrest. So I need to cut out a piece for that and then tack that in, and then we're good to go with the final. Well, it's not the final, we've got to tack everything in properly, and then we've got a piece of wood, marine ply to go underneath, which will push all these down and make the cushion spring up higher and make the material more taut on the actual seat. So let's get on with that next. Okay, so we've got everything tacked in now. These on this edge at the back, I've only sort of half tapped them in, because I was thinking when I do the bronze ones along here, if I've got any left, I'll do each side of this, the back, with the bronze ones. So I've only half tacked them in. So we've got it tacked in to the headrest, we've got it tacked under there, and then the piece of wood will go on that, so that'll secure that even more. And then we cut a sort of sail shaped piece for that. This will get, obviously when we come to finish it with the whatever tacks we're going to use, this will close in a little bit. So we've got to take all these out one by one now, all the way around this front, one by one, and put the bronze tacks in. I want to do this side last, so I can pull this tight, just to compress the cushion a little bit. But when we come to put the wood on, the one big piece of wood across the bottom there, it should pull it all tight anyway, because it'll push these springs down. Okay, let's do that later on this afternoon. Hello everyone again. So yesterday we got some of the tacks in along that edge, and some around there. Some of them will need redoing because they're obviously, like here, just completely out of line. We're going to have plenty left, so we'll put some along these edges here. It was rained off yesterday, we didn't get much done, it started raining, so I have this roof, so I had to quickly move everything under there out of the rain, and it rained all afternoon, so we got nothing done in the afternoon yesterday. So I've just brought up the piece of wood, so I need to trim that to fit on the base here, and then we'll flip it and continue doing the tacks, and then the last job will be to get some foam on the armrest. Hello again. There's been a development, or well, a lack of one. We cut out the piece of wood to go here, and I just cannot compress this down enough. So sort of when the wood's on top, it's kind of up here, and I can't, there's no way of pressing it down to get it to here. And I think from memory, most settees just rely on these. If that was wood, then it may be too, I don't know what the word is, but it might just be too much for it. The springs have got no sort of release, so these offer some kind of suspension as such, which is why they're there. So we decided we're not going to use the wood, so I've put extra tacks in all of this webbing, and then we've started, we've gone around this back here, we've done all this, both the edges, with the tacks all the way down to there, and then we just need to come around here and fill all these gaps in with an extra tack in each gap, and then do some fine tuning here where they've gone out of line, and then finish off around this scroll, that's what it's called, and then we've just got to do the armrest. So I just wanted to say, on looking back on some of the footage that I've done, I've been holding the phone, which is what I'm recording on an iPhone, in the landscape position, but for some reason when I upload it, it's coming out as if I've held it in the portrait position. So I don't know what causes that. It's very annoying, so I apologize for that if it's your viewing pleasure is marred by my ineptitude at videography. So I'm on a learning curve, so I'll have to Google it and find out what I'm doing wrong. So apologies for that. Okay, let's get on with this final bit of tacking. Good morning, everyone. We are on the home stretch, although yesterday was rained off again. We've managed to get all the extra studs in the gaps all around the base. It's had an extra coat of varnish on all the wood, and now we've just got to finish off here and round here, and then that's all the tacking done. We've got our pool noodle, so that's going to go across the armrest. I need to make a split along, well, try and get it as straight as I can, and then fold it over the armrest, and then might glue some material to the foam. I'm not sure yet. So first job is get all this tacking finished. Some of them, or did we do it yesterday? Oh, I think we did it. Yeah, just finish off this section, and then we'll crack on with the noodle. Okay, we've got all that done now. I forgot that on the other side, let me just go around here, we were supposed to make a little piece for over that piece of wood there, so we'll have to do that next. We've got the pool noodle trimmed and on there. I was worried how I'm going to attach it, but it's actually quite tight on there, so I was wondering whether to, I've got some spray adhesive, is to spray it and attach the material by just gluing it to the noodle, and then it should hold. I'll tuck the material inside here, so you won't see any, there'll be no like loose ends or anything. The material will be tucked into here. So and that's it, we're done. So question is, how much do you think we should sell it for? How much would you be willing to pay for something like this in a thrift store or a charity store? I don't know, 100, 200, and I think 200 is too much. Let me know your thoughts on what you think it's worth. Just want to update you and show you what I'm doing so far, just to try and get this noodle attached. So what I've done is I've split the noodle and I've inserted a piece of bamboo along the, well, inside the noodle, and basically what that's doing is it's stopping the noodle from closing. And what I'll do now is I've tucked the material in behind the bamboo, that's holding it in, and then what I've done is I've had to obviously got to make it parallel, or otherwise it'll all look twisted on the armrest. So we've made sure that the line runs parallel to the noodle all the way along, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spray some glue in there and then flip this over and get that one edge fastened down. So we'll let that go off, and then once that's firmly attached and I'm happy with it that it's in a straight line, then we'll spray the whole noodle and then wrap the cloth round, wrap it right the way round, and then tuck this in this side. Hope you follow that. Let's see how we get on first. Okay, well, unfortunately, as well as this looks on here now, it's gone on quite well. It's all glued on. It's ended up a failure because as soon as you open it up to put it onto the armrest here, all the material creases up. Let me just pause and I'll put it on and I'll show you. So the material has all creased, so it's kind of as if it's stuck in places and not stuck in other places. So it just looks a complete mess. So I think what I'm going to do is, obviously I've only got the one pool noodle, so what I might do is take this off for now, and then I've got one piece of material left. Well, we've got lots of pieces, but none of them run that way. The pattern goes the other way. I've only got one piece that's long enough for this armrest with the pattern running that way. So I was going to get that piece, put it on here, tack it to the top, put the noodle on, maybe, and probably might even get another piece of material, so it's double thickness, so you don't see these creases coming through. Tack it on, push the pool noodle on, fold the material over the wrinkly pool noodle, and then attach it to the back with the tacks. So we'll see how we go there, but I think we need some kind of thin foam in between, so we don't see all the creases that you just saw in this material coming through. So let's start that next stage. Well folks, we've finally gone and done it. We have got it finished. All the bronze studs in there for about my alien head all the way along. This, we had to peel off the piece of material that we glued onto it because it was just horrendous. So we folded this one, we've tacked it to the top, laid it out here in front of us, put the noodle on, and then folded it round, and then tacked it to the underside of this. So there you go. There's all the back of it. So it's taken us, what, maybe just over a week, but she's finally done. So it'll be going back to the charity shop soon, hopefully, and going up for sale. so I'll keep you informed as to what we sell it for in the end. Okay, thanks for watching everybody. We'll see you on the next one, our next rescue piece of furniture. Okay, thanks. Bye everyone.